I need to be back on Mixer because I need to write the name of the episode.
Do whatever you need to right there.
Okay.
It's yours to do it.
I need to be back on Mixer because I need to write the name of the...
Oh, you're gonna have to turn your speakers on.
This? Oh, I know. Don't worry. This was just to test it. Because now...
Excuse me, 1 second. Okay, that is that, and...
Can I just go down there and open it?
No, yeah, I just need to make sure that it's the monitor. Since we're not playing any music, I guess it really doesn't matter. Johnny. Alongside Mike, I am Johnny, and if you notice, we are in a little bit of a different location tonight because this week, as our season finale, we are privileged and... what? We're privileged and honored to be worthy to bring along into our into the podcast the official guidance counselor of Tangent Podcast with Mike and Johnny. That would be Dr. Delight himself. Dr. Delight, say hello to the good people out there.
Hey.
So we're trying a whole bunch of new stuff tonight. If there's any kind of technical difficulties, bear with us. As you know, we strive for professional. So I couldn't even
Can't
say
keep a
that.
straight face.
I couldn't say that with a straight face.
Can't keep a straight
We strive for
face.
some degree of professionalism, so we're using some kind of new... What's the software that you were telling us about?
It's called XSplit.
XSplit, which allows us to share all over the place. And we're on YouTube tonight, so if you want to check us out on YouTube, you can do that.
Oh, is there a channel? There's a channel.
There's a
Dr.
tangent...
D Light.
Oh, you're doing it through yours
Yeah, I
tonight.
couldn't get through his anymore.
Dr. D Light on youtube.com/Dr. Delight.
Now, my question is this. In terms of live
Give me your phone.
broadcasting... In terms of live broadcasting on YouTube,
Yeah.
the way Facebook works is like they populate your videos for you a little bit. Oh, by the way, if you're listening to the show, like it, share it, tell your friends. Everybody, we're glad to have you here with us tonight, and so on and so forth. What are you looking
Don't you
for?
turn on your phone?
With a button.
Oh,
That turns it on.
Oh my god, old school.
Yeah, it's not like you pee on it and then you shake it and then it goes on. So like and share and tell your friends and all that kind of stuff, and we'll be happy to have you, and send us messages and all that.
Yeah. There we go. All
Yeah,
right.
so feel free, Michael, to work your mojo over there.
I'm gonna do that.
And we'll start talking about some stuff. So straight off at the top of the show, we're going to do some sports, David. So prepare yourself for
Oh
that.
god.
It's only going to take a minute because I basically
There we go.
our Michael over here as our what? Do you want me to move
You want
over?
me to
I want everyone
closer?
to move over. Let's
I'm
all...
coming close and personal.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I was telling
That was
Michael.
gonna happen later.
I was telling much later.
Much later.
Much later. I was telling Michael on the way over that as a Houston sports fan, he should be excited because the Houston Rockets just got a player on their team named Chris Paul. Chris Paul is one of the best guards in the NBA, and it might be exactly what your team needs to to kick it up a notch for next season. Do you care about that at all?
Not even a little bit.
What's interesting about it, very quickly, is that
I'm sharing, guys. I'm sharing because you're not sharing. I am sharing. It's a team effort that only I'm a part of.
are you logging into your thing on my thing?
So things can happen.
So things can happen. Okay, cool. So Chris Paul is the Rockets have this player James Harden. He is a transcendent player of unique and unbelievable once in a generation skill. He can shoot the lights out of the ball like nobody's business. However, he turns the ball over a ridiculous amount. He had the most turnovers in the league last season. So this guy Chris Paul, that's mine. This guy Chris Paul is maybe exactly what they need because he's a facilitator. So he can help spread the ball around more. James Harden can be free to score, and Chris Paul can just sort of run the offense.
Didn't Harden? Did he need any help to begin with? Wasn't he
He
scoring
was scoring
like a frat boy in
a
a drunken orgy?
That's exactly what he was scoring like. If I had to say, he was unbelievable. But it's just cool. It's interesting because this is what's crazy is that basically everybody who's a basketball fan knew that the finals was going to be this year was going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Golden State Warriors from last July. Everybody knew that was going to be the finals this year. And now the off season is the most interesting part of the season because we're trying to see who's going to go where, what team's going to get strong enough, who can possibly beat the Warriors. Okay,
Yeah, and that's not gonna
It's
happen.
gonna be.
that's all I got. Probably won't happen,
Not gonna
but
happen.
we're gonna see what we're gonna see.
It's
how
not
it
gonna
goes.
happen.
We're gonna see. Are you a Warriors fan?
No, I'm not.
Do you follow basketball? At
A
all?
little bit. I know enough to know that there's a point where when you put too many great team players together at the same time, you have a fundamental problem in that they become this majestic thing that works like a well-oiled machine and looks like it's
That sounds
invincible.
awful.
First of all, it's
Well, it's
amazing.
awful for everybody. No, you have
It's
to understand.
amazing.
It's awful for everybody else.
It's amazing that you said team players because that's exactly what it is. In other words,
Yeah.
if you got the 5 biggest stars in the league on the same team, but they're selfish players, then it's
Won't
going
do
to
any
fall on
good.
its face, and you're going to
So here's a question that I'm really just trying to find something out for a moment. Here's
Sure.
a question. Can you name me all the great players on the Golden State Warriors?
Yes.
Like, are they like were they a well-oiled team,
Yes.
and with each one with their own characteristics
Yes.
Yeah,
and
very much so.
charisma?
It's one of the
and all that?
it's one of the major storylines I think that's been playing about basketball for the last year.
They've
is the
got-
fact that they've done that.
And they've also kind of changed the game because now what every player wants, move your leg over just a little bit, your leg is hairy and itchy. Basically, they have
Related,
four huge stars on the Warriors, right? They've got Kevin Durant, who's a 7-foot tall guy who can shoot from 3-point land, which is insane. He's also a prolific scorer, team player, all that. They've got Steph Curry, who's maybe the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. They've got this guy, Klay Thompson, who can shoot the lights out of the ball like crazy. And then they've got this 4th guy named Draymond Green, who can shoot and plays crazy defense. And with all 4 of them were all stars, and that you can't overcome that because, by the way, they play defense and they score like crazy. So even if you have a team that can shoot the lights out of the ball, if they can't play defense, you can't hang. And they can play defense.
I think it was also that when you look at how they worked out as a team, even though, I mean, it's the Michael Jordan effect again, as it were, because Michael Jordan, when he came in, changed the game entirely. I learned that from one of my students, actually, in a paper that he wrote.
You need to talk louder, David.
I need to talk louder. Okay. Well, then what I was saying is that one of my students wrote a paper about Michael Jordan. One of the things I learned about it was that he actually changed how the game was played, moving it away from a centered-oriented game to a guard game, and then from there even, a point game, and then from there you could actually say that this is the next transition, where it's not enough for you to have that one great player, what's his name on the Cavs and
LeBron James.
Yeah, that one. It's not enough to just have one. I can't do that. I can do that. But what you need now, what we're moving towards, is a sense of returning back to a sense of more team play, and that the team play is the way to overcome that challenge. It's almost like a cycle. It was team play, then it became center play, then it became point guard play, then it's moving back now towards team play.
So what's going on? First of all, that transition that you're talking about with Michael Jordan already started to happen as soon in like the 70s when they invented the 3-point shot. Because the 3-point shot was just like a bunch of guys in the paint trying to muscle each other out, and the winner of the MVP award every year was a center
because he's the biggest freaking guy, and he would always be.
And he would just dominate inside, right? Guys like Will Chamberlain, guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, guys like that.
But then Michael Jordan came along.
Then Michael Jordan comes around, right? And what's happening now is what you're seeing is what they call
Michael Jordan wasn't the first to. Like, wasn't Magic Johnson around before
Magic
Jordan?
Johnson was a guard.
He never hit threes?
He hit threes all the time.
So who invented the threes?
In other words, it wasn't a rule yet.
In other words, allowed to?
In other words, it became,
the 3-point
in the 70s, the 3-point didn't exist until one point, and then they were like, oh, let's make a 3-point shot, and then it sort of started to change the game.
And then Michael Jordan came along and it...
And where we're at right now is, if you have a dominant big, like the last dominant big man in the paint that anybody thinks about is probably Shaquille O'Neal. A little bit of, I forget what that guy's name, who's not very good anymore, but is still in the league. I can't think of his name. It's fine. So, what are you trying to do?
Logging into Wi-Fi.
So if you have like a big dominant big man who can just dominate the boards and the paint, you don't want that anymore. It's positionless basketball. The 7-footers have to shoot now. There's this guy in New York. His name is Kristaps Porzingis. He's a Latvian player. The kid's unbelievable. He's 7 feet tall. He can shoot 3-pointers all day.
And it's
amazing.
And it's more important that he can shoot the 3-pointers than the fact that he can
dominate the boards.
Yes, exactly. And that's amazing. Also, that's
even though you want to get rebounds and stuff like that.
And I'm not a basketball person, and I know that much. And most of that I learned recently through a paper.
Well, as a tactician, you're into tactics. And there's so many tactics in sport, especially team sports.
Yeah,
it's all about tactics. You run a specific style of offense. You run this Rockets team. Their coach is this guy Mike D'Antoni. He's all about scoring. They always shoot 3-pointers.
Okay, here's a good question because I'm only half listening to this whole conversation. Any coach who's not all about scoring should probably be fired.
I don't know about that.
I'm barely paying attention, but I'm pretty sure since the main goal in basketball is to score as many points this guy's like, you know what, this season, guys, missed.
Okay. I don't know what the coach of the team was, but the Detroit Pistons in the late 80s won 2 championships with teams that were dominant defensive teams.
Right.
They had, what's his name?
They must have had a scorer.
Of course they did. They had Joe Dumars, they had Isaiah Thomas, they had Bill Laimbeer, they had fucking even John Sally at the end. And
I have no idea.
Frankie Kaplowski.
Frankie Kaplowski was the dirtiest defensive player, but he would shut you down.
But mostly because he used to eat a lot of deli sandwiches before the games and he'd oil up the ball with the deli grease.
They called those guys the best.
Why do you know that?
No, he made that up. That's completely made up.
Come on, Dave.
Oh, Dennis Rodman was on those teams.
Which ones?
Those Pistons teams had a super young Dennis Rodman on those teams. Then he ends up, and you want to talk about like you can't win with one star anymore. You know, people will say, "Oh, well, how many?" You know, they want to like talk bad about Scottie Pippen, let's say, and they'll say, "Well, how many championships did Scottie Pippen win without Michael Jordan?" Fine. How many championships did Michael Jordan win without Scottie Pippen? The answer is also 0. So you really do need a team, and the best players, the once-in-a-generation talents, understand that and also make the players around them play better.
Right.
And I had that experience once. In high school, we would play 3-on-3 games in gym. I was on a team once randomly with the 2 best players in the high school. I've never played better in my entire life than when I played with those guys.
I won so hard when I was with people who were good.
No, but I'm saying like I hit more shots in that game than I did my whole life before and after that combined.
Which means they were letting you shoot, which is awesome.
But they were feeding me the ball in situations where I was open.
And enabled you to do
and I felt elevated enough to start sinking stuff here and there. Yeah, so shout out to Natan Schwartz and David Shaffrin. That was a cool game. That was fun.
I wonder if they remember it.
Oh, I thought they were listening.
If they remember it, possibly, maybe. Maybe Natan remembers it because he and I...
Also, now's a good time because the basketball stuff seems to be coming to an end. Check us out either on Facebook.com/TangentPodcast, or if you don't feel like looking at our beautiful faces, you can go get the audio only on www.mixler.com/maximum-mike. And we're trying something new right now. We are on the YouTube tonight, so check that out at youtube.com/Dr. Delight. We're just trying new stuff, and we got a cool symbol thing on the screen. Where am I trying to touch?
Michael's touching me.
That's on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking, like, at some point, this wall needs, like, a big banner.
Well, it needs to be,
tangent banner.
Blue. But we could try it. If we move this way, we can do it.
Yeah, okay. We'll get, like, one of those things printed up that they,
A blue screen.
No. Like as rock shows. Yeah, like a silk screen logo of the show right on it. Get some spray paint, spray it on, something like that.
Nice.
Okay, so that's the sports for tonight. Thank you for bearing with me. I like to talk about sports.
Good for you.
This kid... Oh, more sports.
We're ramping up. We start and then we move up to the top.
An Israeli kid raced in a NASCAR race last Sunday.
Which is awesome.
We spoke about. Did we speak
Well,
about
he
this
did.
on the
He
show?
did it.
Oh, he did it.
He did it.
And so we can tell from the response in the Facebook world, nobody gave a shit.
Nobody gave a shit except for a few diehard fans. He came in 31st.
Which is actually pretty good.
He didn't come in last.
Which is something.
He came in 31st because his car was slightly broken, which I thought is something that would happen. You know, when you race for a smaller team, you can only do so much. You're not going to win the race anyway. But he was moving. He was moving around. He was showing some fight in him. And good luck to Alon Day. We're following you, buddy.
Wait, so what place did he get?
31st
Out of
40.
That's good?
No.
It's better than not 40. It's better than any number higher than 31.
It's better than.
No, but for an Israeli to have raced and to say this is the first race that he did without the resources that most of the other people have.
He doesn't have the sponsorship.
You know, to even say that he made it in there is already something, and then to say that he went beyond just being there, he was able to somehow play the game enough to not come in dead last. Like,
my question
is like when I go shooting, I'm just praying I don't come in dead last. No, this kind of shooting.
Like you guys have competitions and shit?
Yeah, I'm part of a competition. I'm part of a team.
A team?
Yeah.
You just shoot at stuff?
Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Listen, there's a famous F1 driver in the 70s named Jackie Stewart. Jackie Stewart was a world champion skeet shooter before he became I guess that hand-eye coordination translates between shooting and driving.
In a lot of ways.
So,
is it like bowling?
No.
Is it like bowling?
I mean,
like you get the round object towards the end of the thing, and you wanna.
I mean, yes, I can
destroy.
If you want, I can do this and
are
give
you
you like
shooting
a strike.
stationary targets or clay pigeons?
We are shooting both stationary and moving targets, not clay pigeons. It's either papers or metals.
Papers or metals that are like rolling on
clay pigeons
stuff that
targets.
moves. It's called they're bobbers. There are poppers, things that pop up, and there's things that.
And then one thing's like a little girl with holding some books, so you have to be careful.
No, this is not
Men in Black.
Men in Black. Thank you very much, but that was awesome. And yeah, I would have shot the girl too.
Yeah, why not?
What is he doing there?
She's cardboard.
There was a great Facebook video that was going around for a while of like this. What's it called? Where you go to shoot?
Shooting range?
Thank you. It was a range, but it was like a police group in America, and they had like the stormtroopers, and they were trying to teach stormtroopers how to shoot.
They cannot hit
stormtroopers.
Yeah, there's just like a guy who's like a sheriff, and they're like, okay, and he's like explaining how to aim, and you see the stormtrooper, and he's shooting lasers, and the target is like, 100 feet away or whatever, and he's nothing. So they bring it closer, and closer till it's that far away, and he's still not hitting the target.
There's a website called like McSweeney's or Sweeney's or something like that, which has like really funny, weird short stories. And there was a short story a friend of mine sent me a few years ago that was the diary of a Cobra Viper in training camp to become a Cobra soldier.
Cobra from G.I. Joe.
He's like, okay, my first day in training, all we did was run up a hill and scream Cobra. Second day of training, all we did was run up the hill and scream Cobra. And I went to my captain and I was like, hey, sir, excuse me, shouldn't we do target practice? And he said, shut up, start running up the hill and scream Cobra. Because that's all they actually do.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a place for that.
So a few days ago, maybe yesterday, back when, I'd like to say, it's weird that I have to say this, but back when Tangent was slightly raunchier than it is today,
what the fuck are you talking about?
we posted an article about something that had to do with tefillin date. .com?
Yeah.
That thing doesn't exist anymore.
No, it does not.
I was very surprised.
Well,
John, do you know what Tefillin Date is?
I know what it's from.
This is a Jewish porno site, and
I didn't know it was a porno site.
I was.
It was
I
like
know what it is.
It was like this weird website that had a bunch of naked pictures of like Hamish women. They were very unattractive. It was weird.
Why are you looking?
Why
wouldn't I? Wouldn't you?
No, but I was just. The site is just gone. Now, I guess the question is, what would make a website like that vanish off the face of the planet? Were they doing
Publicity.
something illegal,
Publicity.
or did it get too much attention?
I'm guessing if
attention.
somebody in a community finds out about it, you can complain. If you can say, "Hey, those pictures are mine," and this guy showed them illegally.
Well, we found out that that's like super difficult to pull off.
Maybe the guy heard our show and got all schmeassy and decided enough of that.
What was back in the recently?
Maybe I don't know how long ago it went offline. I just remember thinking like, "Oh, that was a thing. I wonder if that's still a thing," and then it wasn't a thing anymore.
Definitely not.
But the idea of a Tefillin Date, I'm sure, is still a thing. You heard about what went on in like Lakewood? You hear about this?
Yeah, the people who were scamming.
A bunch of people got arrested.
Welfare.
They've been scamming welfare for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and a bunch of
and
people
you're
are
going to
getting
connect
arrested.
this to porno?
No,
Or
he's
you're
gonna
not
connect
gonna-
this to the schmeus.
I'm going to connect this to the schmeus because they think they're more schmeus than you, but here they are. And the weird thing is that, like, here's a question. The community doesn't throw them away, usually. They're like, oh, it's the government railroading them. Now, is that the leadership saying, like, I can tell you what to do because I'm your Rebbe? Or are they just like, we hate the Goyish world so much? And then also,
that will stand behind the people that are making the mistakes that are against.
It's clearly usser what they're doing. So how is that okay?
It's called tribalism. The effect is called a tribalism effect. It's where people will more likely self-identify, and therefore when they identify with people as part of their tribe, they're more
Did you just send us an article about tribalism? Where was I just talking about tribalism?
You saw about 30 seconds of a clip that
You
I
sent
want
a
you to
video
watch
about tribalism.
when we were practicing to try and do the YouTube thingy with this.
But it was about. Was that the end of the article that you sent me?
It was the very beginning.
It was about how us versus them tribalism.
Yeah.
I posted that shit on
So
Facebook.
because
I was so angry.
Because you feel part of this group, you say, well,
That other group is wrong.
anything that's not my group is wrong,
Yeah.
and so breaking the law
Yeah.
doesn't apply to me,
Yeah.
even though they're probably going to go to prison.
I've been so angry about the whole concept of us versus them. And it was great that you managed to throw that in. I don't know if it was by mistake or because we were planning on talking about something about it, but I've been so upset about the liberal agenda because their whole concept is we accept everybody unless you disagree with us and then go fuck yourself.
See, no.
What,
Wrong.
I hope you're not going to disagree with the go fuck yourself part because that's 100%.
No, that's 100% right.
Oh, good. Okay. So the thing that's bothering me, that's still a thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get angry about
But
that.
it's,
Okay,
bothering
no.
it's bothering you for the wrong reason. I think.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Anyone who says
No.
I want everyone to have everything and we should never hate anyone because of their skin color or what they believe in or any of their beliefs, I kind of don't agree with you. Fuck you. I hope you burn in hell, you Nazi. It just doesn't make any sense and it's retarded.
Okay, wait. My turn. Good. Very good. So, let's imagine the following. When you talk politics, or you say liberal...
Where this is a hypothetical.
Where this is where you talk politics. Which
this is
is
a hypothetical.
so rare.
It's a hypothetical
Because
politics.
it's
okay.
rare.
When I talk politics, you know how
When I see unicorns pissing rainbows,
It's either that or I'm
You
really
talk
critiquing
politics.
the Dow Jones. That's really
You do what I would say 95% of the population does.
good. I'm a
They
follower.
they will put politics on a spectrum that has right and left with extremes on it, but in reality, the political spectrum isn't a right and left spectrum. It's actually a circle, where what you have is the right part of the circle and the left part of the circle, but the top and the bottom of the circle, or the points that are at the farthest, what you would call anarchy, as the farthest left you can possibly go. Absolute anarchy. No government, no
but
nothing.
it's still on the curve.
Oh, it's still, no, it's all part of a circle.
So-
You've got anarchy, and right
so-
next to anarchy, you're going to have something called classical liberalism.
So we, as the extreme center, are basically the nipple on the
Yeah.
on the the
boob
of
the spectrum.
Yeah. So think about the spectrum.
The political booby.
Think about the spectrum like this. The spectrum is basically like a dartboard, where the very center is the extreme middle, and you get different layers outward of people who are willing to at least acknowledge and have discussions across the spectrum.
And there's quadrants, right?
And there's like 6 or 7. There's like 7 of them right now. You could probably put 8 in at this point. Ah!
We are on the air. I'm just making sure. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear us and everyone. Send a chat, hit that hearty button thing on Mixler. If you guys are listening in, let us know you're not dead and we're not talking to dead air. That'd be great. Also on Facebook. I just need to know that everybody's listening because of stuff. I just gotta know.
Yeah, and quickly shout outs to Dr. Oh wait, you're here. Michael, Nat, Ellie, Maximum, Mike. Wait, where did you go?
Oh, sorry.
Maximum Mike is online.
Hey, Yonina. Hey, Yonina, how you doing?
Galnev, Vonix, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in.
Hey, here's a question for you, David.
She was my student.
David, if you were gonna share our show somewhere, where would you share it?
Google Plus.
What the fuck are
And
you
now,
sharing
and all of a sudden, I see like tumbleweeds blowing across the screen.
Don't forget to check out our MySpace page
Oh,
or
no.
check us out on
What do you want, Mr.
www.aol.com/tangent tablets.
What about Friendster? Is
You know what?
Friendster
What's
still a
up?
thing?
There you go. I'll share it on WhatsApp.
Oh man, I'm telling you, we should really get out our MySpace papyrus page. It's very, very in right now.
Yeah, I mean the idea of a tablet being both the oldest and newest type of technology that has ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Pigeon.org.
but we tangented. David, you were in the middle of something.
Okay, I don't mind.
You were talking about a boob.
Yeah, I was talking about a booby.
The political spectrum, the booby of political
The
spectrum.
political booby of life.
Okay.
So the idea is as follows. When we talk about extremes nowadays, imagine them as like this dark red on the outside of that board. They're the people you're talking about. The more, in the past, when the middle was a large group, the branch between that middle and the extreme outside was a good tight group, and the extreme outsiders was a small little red line around the outside of this dartboard. All good. Society's doing well. We can communicate with each other. I don't have to like your ideas, but I can listen to them. I can examine them. I can even borrow some of them because they're okay with me. They're not great with me, but they're okay with me. The bigger the red, the bigger the outside of that board, the more of the
red is outside.
on the outside. Think about it like red.
There's a rash.
Yeah, think there's a rash, and then you got like the nice skin, and then you got the areola, and then you got the nipple. Okay, Johnny wants to be the nipple.
I'm the piercing in the nipple.
Johnny wants to be the. You are definitely the piercing in the nipple.
Okay.
But the whole point is the bigger the areola is, in this case.
I hope you're comfortable with this.
I have no problem with it, actually. The bigger the areola is.
We know he's done well if this becomes a metaphor he uses in his class. Like, that's what I want to hear one day.
I'd like to tell you
really what we're going to do.
The political booby.
No, because right now what we're going to do is we're going to give a mammogram to the political state. Is really what I'd like to hear.
We talk about the boob of political affiliations.
Right. I mean, and how do we keep them up? Up is how we keep the conversation going.
It must be soft yet perky.
My question is, but what makes me angry, because I understand what
There's
you're
saying.
saying.
There's a lot of red now. There's a lot of this outsider, this has become the norm. There's a lot of this, almost none in the middle. There's almost no areola, there's no nipple. There's nobody representing the middle, the true. I am willing to listen to anybody and everybody. I will treat you all exactly equal no matter what. And as a result of that, I will synthesize that and be able to tell you what you said back to you and say, I agree or don't agree, but it doesn't matter to me. I can still be absolutely with you. That's not possible. It's not possible.
The problem with it also is that
idea,
even if you can be that person, the people you're going to engage with are not those people,
right,
and will be yelling and screaming at you.
No, only if that's only true in present day. You're right, because there's so much red, and there's so little of those people in that middle grouping, that not central grouping and not outer grouping, so that. Because those are the people you can talk to. Because if you can talk to them, the people who are closest to that outer red, they're either going to fall outside or inside. But if you can pull them in towards the middle, they can even maybe influence people in the red
What's interesting?
It's
What's interesting to me is that right now, while here on Tangent Podcast, we profess ourselves to be this extreme center. What's interesting to me is I feel like Jonny and I represent the liberal, the ideal liberal agenda much more than the liberals do. Because do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Where I feel like I'm much more liberal than liberals. Because I'm, at the moment, and I hope I manage to pull it off, is that I'm much more accepting of people's beliefs than the liberals are. Right. And that's so sad. That's sad. A true liberal today would actually change their label to extremists.
I hate to break the news to you both, you're liberals.
But we're not, because calling me a liberal would be saying, you're an asshole.
No.
Liberal today means asshole.
Okay, so let's use terminology without that connotation. You, in terms of your ideological perspective on the world, not based on how we see liberalism today, modern liberalism,
that's what I'm saying.
Social democracy, I would even say, or even more than that, because it's really social democracy you're talking about. You are the epitome of a social democrat. What are you looking at?
Okay, so technology is really cool, David.
I hate
While people are watching us and listening to us, they can also comment, but it's very difficult to see said comments because we're really far away from the camera. So, what you should be doing is...
But you logged me out.
I did log you out.
Imagine if the call to prayer at a mosque was electronic music, a call to dance.
That'd be awesome.
But what would be the purpose of that? I feel like
DJ Ahmed.
Get up and dance. Dance is definitely a way to get people together. Music. I mean, remember what you saw.
Okay, I live in the.
I remember what you saw when we looked at the stuff from Manchester. Same idea. Music is.
We're gonna get there. Don't jump the gun.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay, here's a question for you. You live in an area where you can hear the muazzin, right? I'm saying that right.
Yes.
Does it bother you?
Bothers my wife.
What about it for reals?
4 o'clock in the morning.
Like it wakes her up? Man. I mean,
wakes
car
me up
alarms go off
when we're out here for Shabbat.
Yeah, but when you know it's going to happen every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning,
you'd think that you'd be able to
get used to it. You'd think you'd get used to it. I don't think it wakes up my kids. But for a light sleeper, it's not fun. It bothers some of the dogs at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Dogs will go, and it's an interesting experience.
But they're just looking for an excuse, those dogs. Those dogs are assholes. Those dogs are liberals.
Any reason to bark. But
okay,
it's more than anything. I don't mind it, except that it's way loud.
Okay.
Now you do way loud. Okay. I don't.
No, but here's the question. Let's flip it, right?
Okay.
I would say that. So what bothers your wife about it, or what bothers many people about it, is that it's loud and it disturbs, right? Now, what if the situation was flipped? Okay, what if the situation was flipped?
Mm-hmm.
What if you were put in a situation where the neighbor next to the shul was saying that fucking shofar? It's so loud.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it have to be so loud? I want it made illegal that people should be able to trumpet.
See, but I don't think anyone is saying you're not allowed to do it. It's that you have to do it within the reasonable noise level so that it's
But there are people who want to cancel it completely. People want to make it illegal.
There are people who would like to
turn the volume
Islam.
down.
No, there are people who would like to take Islam and eradicate it from Israel. There are people who would like to take it as a theology and get rid of it entirely. So it depends on who you're talking about. There are people who, they want to get rid of it. What do they want to get rid of? Any manifestation of Islam in their area.
So
then there are people who are like, look, Islam's... You want to be Muslim? Be a Muslim. You want to have a call to prayer? You need somebody to wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning to remind you to roll out of bed and do this thing that you want to do because you believe in your God?
Let me ask you a question.
Fine, but why the hell are you doing it in a way that is...
A town over
is hearing it, and it's so disturbing that children or old people are waking up about it. Old people can't hear it.
Let me ask you this. If I would go to Saudi Arabia, okay? The muezzin's going to come on at 4 a.m. and be on the loudspeakers the same way they are here.
Right.
Can we in any way know if the volume there is louder or quieter than it is here?
No, but
Why can't we know that?
Well, I mean, you could if you want to go with a decibel meter, go there and come here.
And no one's ever done that?
I don't know if anyone's ever done that. But in Egypt, the Egyptian government has just passed a law, which is the equivalent of our Muazzin bill, which basically says you can do the call to prayer, but you may not do it in a way that is done in a disturbing manner to the people around you. Period.
Political question.
That's Sisi for you, by the way.
That's Egypt.
The last guy. Well, no, because Morsi
would have never. Yeah, if Morsi's the mother, the
Muslim Brotherhood guy. Yeah, they would never pass that shit.
So right now, in Egypt, the guy in charge is
passing the same exact law that Israel's passing.
So he's not very Muslim Islam extremist.
No, he hates terrorists.
So isn't that good for us?
Yeah.
Is that having any effect at all right now?
Yes. He's probably one of the
best. Is it having an effect on our relations with the country?
With Egypt, yes. For the
how?
positive.
How?
You're asking how? So, for instance, among other things, we know for a fact that the Egyptian army is actually fighting ISIS in Sinai. ISIS has gotten a foothold into the Egyptian Sinai, and we know that they're using Bedouins and other people who are there in order to try and smuggle arms into Gaza, but also in order to try and work against the Egyptian government.
They've blown up a bunch of tunnels.
They actually flooded
Gaza.
A ton of tunnels that were going from Egypt
killed a bunch of people
into Gaza. Flooded them, and people just died. And
nobody cared because it wasn't us that did it. Dude, like 12 people died in flooded tunnels that Egypt flooded from Egypt going into Gaza. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody. But if we did that, it would be an international incident.
Mm-hmm. And we would blow up the tunnels all the time.
Yeah, we always made sure there wasn't anybody in there.
Oh, what'd they do? Like squirrels with notes on them? Eddie, what are you, just microphones?
No.
We're going to be flooding these tunnels.
We
go into the tunnel?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
That's how a lot of soldiers got killed in the last war.
Well, that's pretty dumb. Why don't you just put on some speakers and be like, hey, we're flooding these tunnels in about 20 minutes.
It's based on the question of what does a moral army do versus an immoral army.
It's not immoral to tell them that in a few minutes we're going to be blowing up the tunnels.
What if they have children there?
Just hanging out?
What if they brought children down there in order to be able to blame us afterwards?
Yeah, what about those kids on the beach during the last war that got blown up by a mortar shell?
Potentially make sure that there's actually no people in there who are innocent bystanders in some way, shape, or form. People who've been taken down there by Hamas. We know that they do that sort of thing. We know they use human shields. So, and what better way to blame us than...
I guess the real question is, are we doing it because it's the right thing or because we're trying to avoid blame?
Here's my question.
I believe we should do it because it's the right thing.
No, I understand why we should do it.
I hope that a lot of people don't understand what strategy is. And I think that it's really important that people understand it. Strategy is when you take an idea, which is the ideational part of a power process. It's where you take this idea, and in strategy, you look at who you are, your identity, your culture, your emotions, everything you feel, believe, want, etc. You look at the resources you have available to you, and you try and combine what you can give to this idea and what's going to limit you based on your belief systems, based on society, based on norms, whatever it is, and then you come to some sort of conclusion about the best way to do what you want to do. And then you choose what you're actually going to do in order to do that. So, for instance, let's use the
tunnels?
The podcast as an example.
Oh,
okay. You guys decided you wanted to sit down with each other, but you wanted to share the nature of your discussions with other people because the nature of your discussions is very interesting and it has, it touches on other people's lives in the sense that people are interested in what you guys talk about.
That sounds so much more noble than it actually was.
You guys just wanted to share.
We wanted to talk to each other and not have people interrupt us.
Well, we could have done that by not doing a podcast, Johnny.
Many times we've been talking together on Friday night, walking down the street, and one of our friends would come up to us and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And we're like, "Hey," and he'd look at us and be like, "You guys are doing that thing you do, right?" And we're gonna be like, "Yeah," and be like, "Okay, bye," and they just walk away
because they know that they can't talk to you.
No, but that was
they know
always we were talking our main
comic
superhero
books or something like that. Come on.
That was shout out to Gideon.
but who doesn't listen to the show but would love the show but also listens to a bunch of podcasts. It drives me nuts. Okay, go ahead.
I don't.
Okay, so I've got a question. I've got a question for you, a tactical question for you.
Okay.
When the last war was going on and they had all these tunnels, we were discovering tunnel after tunnel after tunnel, and people were saying we heard digging underneath the floor. And okay, once the secret was out, and we knew they had those tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they send wave after wave of men through the tunnels into the country? Why didn't they freaking use them? All that you saw was like they sent like 10 guys through once. You saw them running around in a circle, and then they just got blown to pieces.
Come on, think about it. You know the answer yourself.
Because politically they would lose ground.
No, but you're thinking first thoughts. Think second thoughts and third thoughts on this one.
Then they lose.
What happens when? Think about it like a football game. Okay. You have a guy.
Johnny's making uniforms for the terrorists now.
They're green and white. The Kia band goes around the helmet.
Oh God. Are they all wearing like?
I want to see what their mascot looks like. I want to see what their mascot.
Oh, it's Ahmed. It's Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Jeff Dunham does 10 minutes of comedy at the halftime show every week. Okay. Next.
Imagine a football team for a second, okay?
Okay.
And they've got one guy who's been really great at catching for them, or really great at running for them, okay?
Okay.
Now they have the option of running an option play. What's an option play?
You can either run or you can
or
pass.
you can throw, right? Now here's another thing they can do. They can use the option as a means of throwing off the enemy and making the enemy waste resources in order to deal with the option.
So you're saying that...
Did that make sense?
Yes. So what you're saying is, if I understand you correctly, is that they're saying, listen, we don't even really give a shit about these tunnels.
No,
but
they care about them.
They care about them. But
they do care about them.
But we're saying, we know that this will freak Israel out so much that they'll just waste a bunch of money. Maybe they'll send some guys in and we'll be able to pick them up. But we don't really want to send an invasion force.
We don't have the they don't have the capacity to invade. If they were to send every single fighter from Gaza, they would lose.
Fine, but they could have sent 20.
But they don't need to. Think about it. One is not enough, because one doesn't show that you have the capability. It's like the atomic bomb. Why did we blow up 2 of them? Why did we blow up 2 atomic bombs, Michael?
Because
why
two heads are better than one.
No, why did the United States
to show
bomb
that
Hiroshima twice?
To show that we can do it whenever we want.
No, we can do that. Bombed in
Nagasaki.
Japan. Japan twice.
Because once could show that it was a mistake, that maybe
Freak
we regret
accident.
it, but
we only have one run.
We did it on purpose,
and we can do it again.
Yeah.
So. What happens all of a sudden if you think there may be tunnels everywhere?
You think there's tunnels everywhere.
And you have to go look for them.
And even if there are tunnels...
And energy and resources and all this stuff trying to do this...
Oh, dude, I'm pretty sure just digging those fucking tunnels was a hell of a resource for them. You're right. They were talking like they were doing it with
do you know how many 5-star...
They were like, they're just like flossing through rock for years.
How many 5-star hotels they could have built with that concrete?
Yeah.
They could have... Gaza could be the best resort town in the Middle East right now.
It was on its way before the second Intifada.
Yeah, it was doing really well.
Especially with the way we know that the Arabs are so good at hospitality.
Yeah,
right.
Gaza could have been the next Dubai. Easy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the next Dubai, but like...
No, actually, I'll be honest, with it being this close to Israel and Egypt, both huge resorts which are completely secular, are open to secularism, which means you can go to the beach. Like
right.
you've suddenly opened up.
The whole thing's a beach. It's just 20 miles of beach.
And you're making anyway, yeah.
So
I'm not saying that the tunnels weren't an other threat. They were never an existential threat. That's very clear. And they were never...
So they were never going to, like, come up through the floor of a kindergarten.
Even if they did, it would have been... They did it. They're proud of what they did. Can't believe I just said that about
well,
that.
they are. Fine.
They're proud of what they did. and it will make us suddenly become much more scared.
Right, because
the fear, that emotional fear, is part of is impacting our strategic decisions.
I think the fact that they got sirens to go off in Tel Aviv is the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they know, they're like, well, yeah, we know our rockets are pieces of shit, and the only way we're going to
get everybody to run away for 10 minutes, and all the economics of Tel Aviv stop for 10 minutes as people are worried, and all of a sudden the impact is much greater than the worth of the resources they're using.
Right, even though they know like they're going to have to get really lucky to kill anybody.
Right, and with the tunnels, there's also the issue of we're probably not going to find all of them, so it's worth their while to put out 50 tunnels. Okay, we find 20 of them, there's still 30 there that they can use again, which means the tunnel problem still exists, which means we still have to put resources to it, which means we still have to which means we still have to do everything else, and as a result...
we have to build a wall underground.
A wall underground.
Right. We're going to build a wall underground?
Yeah, we're digging down like 25, 30 meters.
I thought they were just going to put up like a bunch of awesome sensors that look for groundhogs and shit.
No.
Wouldn't that make more sense?
No.
Just ground sensors?
You know, they used to, you remember the Sky Mall catalog? Do you know about the Sky Mall catalog?
And they'd put those things up to keep
So in one of the Sky Mall stores was the gopher thing. Yeah, you stick it in the ground and it emits a subsonic thing, and it scares all your gophers out of your yard.
You would just aim speakers at the ground all along the border with Gaza and play Raining Blood by Slayer.
That would be awesome.
The only problem with it is that you would be destroying the aquifer system underneath. Now, part of the problem is part of the problem that they're dealing with.
So tell the people of
part of the problem they're dealing with, people. I feel like I want to tell you guys.
We're here.
Remember that we're here.
Part of the problem they're dealing with, is that when we build this wall, how do we minimize the impact to
the ecosystem? Because if you were to do what you're talking about, putting speakers out, unless you have a very finely directed beam of sound and you're using it for a very specific thing, I highly doubt it would be good for the ecosystem. Just to blast sound under the ground?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, I gotta imagine that because you can't direct it.
I just wanna pick the
playlist.
I just want to pick the playlist. Can we pick the playlist? That's why. Also, for those of you listening in America, what happens in a lot of like in Bnei Brak or in Gilo and Mei Shearim and stuff like that is that before Shabbat they play music on their loudspeakers, and I like to think to myself sometimes, what's the most offensive thing I could put on there? But then I realize anything. Like, I could put Barbra Streisand on and that would freak them out beyond all measure.
Father, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could put that on. It doesn't have to be, strangled, raped, disposed by Cannibal Corpse. It doesn't have to be that.
Is there actually a...
I think so.
Eat, sleep, rape, repeat. Eat, sleep.
Yeah, that song is offensive enough. They're so uptight about their and somebody sent me a video recently. It was like from some Frummy wedding where they were playing like a dubstep song, but it was Hasidic music, but it was with a dubstep beat. It was so wacky.
One of my favorite videos going around is somebody took like a super disgusting, horrible rap song and then just laid it over a bunch of Hasidic like dancing and stuff.
Yeah, was it the one from like the Belzer
yeah, and
wedding?
they're all just like, gotta suck it, gotta touch them, boo. Like it was great.
The wedding looks like it's taking place. You ever seen one of these Belzer weddings? They look like they take place in a basketball arena.
Right.
Okay, the only people allowed on the floor are the Rebbes and the people who are getting married.
Right.
Okay, and then the stands are all dudes in black, swaying left to the left, to the right, together, like bouncing together. They look like those wacky waving inflatable arm flaming tube men things, and they're all going in the same exact direction together. The stands are shaking. I desperately want to see it collapse and just see people falling over.
You basically want to see a waterfall of those.
There's a crazy video of a guy at a soccer match. A player scores a goal, takes his jersey off, throws it into the crowd, and the rush of people
to try and get it
breaks the guardrail, and then you just see bodies just falling down. It's crazy. And the player, he's like, got his hands on his head, like, oh shit, what did I do? Oh, I de-escalated quickly. Like he was not prepared for that outcome.
No.
So, okay.
I don't know how we got on this.
That's because it's Tangent Podcast. It's also the season finale. So
yeah,
for those of you here with us tonight, we're going to be off the air for a few weeks. Then we're going to be back. Then we're going to be off the air for a week, and then we're going to be back again for the long haul. And we are somewhere in the 80s in our overall episode count, right? Somewhere in the upper 80s. We might even be in the 90s. Michael and I are cooking up an idea for episode 100, so stay tuned for that. It might be coming in a month or two.
There's a lot of nerd stuff that I'm worried about. There's so much fun stuff coming up right now, and I don't know how much you're following, but in a week from now, I'm getting, hopefully, and I hope everyone's with me on this, we're finally getting a Spider-Man movie, Johnny. One that we can be super proud of.
Okay,
Stop
for 1 second. I would still put Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, no, 100%.
At least in the top 10, maybe in the top 5 of superhero movies that are ever made.
Schmiz Rachman.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 is an excellent movie. As long as you ignore Tobey Maguire for the whole movie.
He's fine!
He's not fine.
He's fine.
He's not. There's a bunch of stuff missing. The point is, I cannot... okay, so here's the thing. So I got into an argument. I wasn't defending Fantastic Four, but they just released an article last week that Fox is going to give it another go with Fantastic Four.
Are they tying it into the MCU?
No, they said, go F yourself, absolutely not. They're not going to be tied in, but this time around, in order to try to get things right, they're not going to focus on the Fantastic Four, but they're going to focus on the Fantastic Four's children.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to be later in life.
It's going to be right.
Franklin and what's her name?
They're like, we can't figure out this origin story well. Let's just bypass and send them on a wacky adventure. So I was like, hey, that could work. And and somebody replied, oh, what? 5th time's the charm? And I was just like, nobody has a problem with the Spider-Man movie being 5th time's the charm. Well, we had 3 Tobey Maguire movies, 2 Andrew Garfield movies, and now this is number 6. Spider-Man. This is our 6th attempt to make a Spider-Man movie, and everyone's super excited. So I say, you fucking give us as many Fantastic Four movies as you possibly can until you get it right. Who's gonna complain?
My only
We're not investing money. Well, we're investing $6.
My only request is make it part of the MCU. Make it part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Fox isn't willing to give that up.
They already did it with...
No, they did.
Sony did it with...
Yes,
with
they did.
But Fox owns... Oh, Universal owns the Hulk. Ah, dang it. Right? see, Fox... The problem with Fox is that they're so good at X-Men. They're like, well, we have to... We're so good at making X-Men movies.
We gotta give it a try.
We gotta give it a try. But I really think, what is holding them back from making it part of the MCU?
I just think it doesn't translate well. It's not about making it the MCU because it's ego. It's gotta be ego.
It's gotta be
This is the same people that canceled Firefly. What, are you gonna look to them for logic?
Well, but that's any kind of executive. Executives make mistakes all the time.
Now happy that Firefly ended when it did.
In retrospect... No. Here's the thing. We believe in Joss Whedon. Hashtag I believe in Joss Whedon.
I believe in Joss Whedon.
I believe in Harvey Dent, and I believe in Joss Whedon.
We as a society believe in Joss Whedon so much that DC hired him to help fix Justice League.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and it's so wonderful. It really is. And I was telling Johnny about this earlier. I just rewatched Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice with my wife, who had never seen it, because apparently we're working our way backwards in the DCU. We watched Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, and then we're going to watch Man of Steel, then do all the Nolans.
You've never seen Man of Steel yet?
No, she hasn't.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it.
Not with you.
Yeah,
I haven't seen most
We didn't
of
see
these.
it in the theater.
Yeah,
I didn't see most of these movies.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
I didn't see most of these movies.
Yeah, but I don't know what your problem is. You don't have a good reason not to see these movies.
Yeah, you've got a big screen TV and surround sound, 4 meters from here. Go get cracking. You got a big comfortable chair. You got couches. I'm sure you can dig some popcorn out from somewhere.
I got M&M's right over there.
Get cracking, dude. Okay, show's
over. David has to go watch a whole bunch of movies.
If we could watch one,
Dr. D's got to go watch.
If we could watch one movie with David right now, which one would it be?
Because he hasn't seen almost any of them.
I saw Wonder Woman.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
I'm going to see it Saturday night.
I did enjoy it. I can't talk about it.
No.
No. Yeah, it's
Y'all suck! Y'all
No,
the one thing I had
Michael
going for me today.
No, I went to see it with
getting
my
close.
I went to see it with my dad, so I couldn't bring. I tried to bring Johnny. You failed.
I'm cheating on you with Ayala, Michael.
You bailed. I invited you to go.
I had something that night. There was
Work.
something that night. Melissa had to do something.
Whatever it was.
The other thing that's coming up, which I'm also super excited about. Also, I don't even know if we're gonna see Spider-Man together because it's coming out in a week, and I'm leaving for 3 now. So.
Wonder Woman's been out for a month. I don't know. Let's see.
The other thing.
You can't wait for him.
The other thing that I'm super excited about, and so should all of you, is that in 1 month from now, we're gonna get the Defenders.
Yeah,
we're gonna get
finally.
Netflix The Defenders. Hey, David.
Do you know about the Netflix?
You're
shows.
aware of the internet, right?
Yeah.
You know about the Netflix Marvel
I
shows.
know what Netflix is.
So Netflix.
I've seen a few. Like I saw, Hilo and I watched for a little while The Flash.
No.
That's not a
And
Netflix show.
we
That's not a Netflix show.
We watched for a little while. We were watching the one about. Which one was it? I'm not gonna remember now.
Was it Daredevil?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
it was Daredevil
So Daredevil, there's 4 different series that are going on
on Netflix.
Netflix, and it's leading towards a big team up with their Defenders.
Which is August, which is coming out in August. So it's like
Very much felt like.
And as soon as August is over, we're getting Thor and we're getting Justice League, and it's just gonna be month after month in November.
No, I think isn't it a
November.
Christmas movie?
No. It says November, which is weird. I also thought it would come out in Christmas.
Something about they fired the guy who's
for Han
directing-
Solo.
They fired the Han Solo director, and they hired an acting coach for the main guy.
Yeah. Han Solo's the guy who's directing it now is
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That makes
Which
sense.
is kind of cool because Ron Howard's like old school proper director.
He's an amazing director.
He's an amazing director.
You ever see the movie? It's one of the early Ron Howard movies. It's also the cinematic debut of Michael Keaton. It's called Night Shift. You ever see Night Shift?
I think I saw it.
With the Fonz is like the main character in that movie. He takes a job as on the night shift of a morgue. Okay? And he gets like this weird partner who's the other morgue guy who is Michael Keaton. And they end up as a favor to a bunch of prostitutes whose pimp gets killed. To protect them, they end up running a brothel out of the morgue. It is a hilarious movie. Michael Keaton is at his Keatoniest.
Yeah.
He's so good in that movie. That was one of those things where they're like every day the studio was like, fire Michael Keaton. He's gonna do this movie, and the Ron Howard just stuck with him, and it made them all stars. Yeah.
Michael Keaton is in the new Spider-Man movie.
Ooh.
Just letting you know that, since you don't seem to know that.
He plays the Vulture.
Which is odd because the last movie he did, he was Birdman.
Which I haven't seen.
Is it a real superhero movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Right. Okay. So we have no idea.
So did you like Birdman? Tell us in the comments, questions below.
Well, welcome. Also, we're back on Tangent Podcast with we're being hosted by, but also having. We're letting David co-host with us. This is Dr. Delight, our guidance counselor,
Pleasure.
who has been I definitely wouldn't say a puppeteer, but more like Johnny has allowed his hand to be up to hey, guys.
Oh, no.
What an insult.
I have not in
because
any
you
way
allowed the hand to
inserted-
go up there.
I would just let it saying I put my hand on his head.
I would feel much more comfortable with David's hands up my
We're
ass
like-
than not knowing
We're
that
like
David's
Ephraim,
controlling
we're
it.
like Ephraim and Menashe. And David is crossing his hands to bless us both with his
I don't
wisdom.
know if I just got insulted or not. I have zero idea.
Yeah, I don't know if I was insulting or not either.
Johnny's not sure what he was trying to say either.
Okay, Michael, you want to feel bad about yourself a little bit?
Not really. Like, I don't know. I know that you're into that, but not really.
I'm so into that. Okay, I was listening to baseball tonight the other day, and they had the president of.
And they're like, you know who sucks? Fucking Michael.
They had the president of baseball operations for the Tampa Bay Rays, the president of the team.
Daniel Thompson.
His name is Chaim Bloom, and the guy Buster Olney, who's the host of the show, kept saying his name very quickly because it sounded like he kept saying Chaim, right?
Because he wasn't comfortable
So he's this like super Jewy guy. He's the president of the team. He's 33. He's 2 years younger than me, and he's the president of a baseball team.
Who was I?
There are a lot of so unaccomplished.
Dude, there's so many famous.
Why would you compare yourself to somebody else?
Because
I hate myself, David. I think we've been over that 1,000 times.
No, man. If I was stuck running a baseball team at the age of 33, I'd be like, what mistakes have I made in my life? I don't know anything about baseball.
I'm too busy. Okay, I'm too busy shitting money. Okay, let me tell you a story about.
John, okay, let's flip it. Let's say you were making millions of dollars in a job that you hated.
Yeah. Or did he do anything to actually make the money, or is it just money that came to him?
What do you mean? Like, he gets paid a lot of money?
No.
Why is this guy the head president?
Because I'm sure he's really good at analyzing baseball and picking players and putting teams together.
So he's a mathematician.
He's probably a statistician more than anything. Yeah. Okay. So. He's for sure a sabermetrics kind of guy who's looking at, especially because his team probably doesn't have a huge payroll. There's a story like that, sort of like what you were explaining going on right now, right? There's a famous coach in the NBA named Phil Jackson. He won all these championships. Michael Jordan's coach. Okay, he retired. And then the owner of the Knicks was like, I really want you to work for me. And he's like, I'm retired. And he's like, here's this money. Here's this money. No. Finally, he offered him $12 million a year to be the president of the Knicks. And he goes, it would be irresponsible for me to turn this money down, even though I don't want to do the job. And he ends up being the president of the Knicks for 3 seasons. He sucked at it. He hated it. He just got
coaches
fired.
Can't be president.
Sometimes.
Most times, I would say.
But he also didn't put in the effort at all. He was doing it completely for the money, to the point where, and they waited just the right time. Check this out. He got fired, and the way he got fired and the timing of it, he gets to take $24 million with him on his way out the door. I want to do a job
on top of the 36.
On top of what he's made already. I want to know, people out there in podcast land, how can I get a job that will pay me $24 million to not do it anymore? How does that happen? It happened with what's her name? With Mariah Carey also. Remember when Mariah Carey lost her mind and had like
up
a crazy...
on stage?
I don't know if it was up on stage, but she had like 10 years ago, she had a crazy freak out and like melted down and needed to go into like rehab and to exhaustion and take care of herself and put herself together. It was like right after she was on Cribs. Did you ever see her Cribs episode? It is the most uncomfortable. Like at one point she's like naked, like getting into a tub, and you just see a towel. It's very uncomfortable, and you feel like something's wrong with her. Okay. So then Sony's like, yeah, I guess we'll buy you out of your contract, and they just like bought her out of her contract for $30 million. Like, here's $30 million. You don't have to work for us anymore. God damn. So is that what it takes? Do I have to sell 100 million records before I get $24 million to get sent home?
Yeah. You also have to be just only a little bit though, a little bit hotter than you are now.
A little bit hotter. I also need a 5-octave singing range.
Well, that'll come later.
No, but like look at people who
Kim
are
Kardashian.
CEOs of companies.
Yeah, the golden parachutes.
The golden parachute.
The guy from Volkswagen. Do you remember the whole Volkswagen scandal from last year, where they were cooking the numbers on their diesel engines or whatever it was? The guy who got fired got also some crazy tens of millions of dollars to be fired for being the CEO. God, can I be a CEO for like a day and then get fired?
Fire me.
Can I be the chairman of the board and then like you send me home, but I still own a part?
I would be very upset if you took that job to begin with.
Dude, if I woke up tomorrow morning and somebody was like, hey, your dad is the chairperson of Comcast, surprise, and then you could be like Danny Rand, that's the ultimate dream, right? You show up in New York one day with no shoes on. It turns out you own the biggest company in the city, but you don't own it. You own the shares, so you don't actually have to do anything except kind of like walk around
and enjoy your benefits.
There was a rabbi who once said to us in high school, I know all you Americans, you want to be rich and not have to work for it. And at the time, I was offended by that. Like, what does he know about me? But now, I'm 35 years old. That sounds great! That sounds great! And you know what? Hey, rabbi, fuck you! I bet you want to be rich and not have to work for it too, so you can sit and learn all day and donate all your money to your yeshiva. How great would that be? Other than that, I have no thoughts on the matter. That's just cool. Other than that, I have no thought. I also have a problem sometimes. This is something else I was thinking about. Does this ever affect you, Michael, where you see somebody... There's 2 types of people, right? You see somebody having an experience that you've always wanted to have, but you know that person is appreciating every second of that experience, and you're really happy for them, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you're like, oh man, I'm a little bit jealous, but I'm happy for him that he gets to do the thing that I love because
Jim
I know.
Brewer. Didn't we talk about this on the show last week? So, I know you're about to get to your second person, which I'm assuming is an asshole, right?
Well, no, but yes.
Yes, okay. So, as a good example of this, about a week ago, Comedy Central posted a little tidbit from one of Jim Brewer's new stand-up comedies. Jim Brewer, David, if you don't know who that is a famous comedian who's known for his bit on YouTube, like his video of him doing impersonations of heavy metal and rock guys.
Okay.
Okay? He does a great one. He has this whole AC/DC impression. It's amazing. And he's like, also, Metallica are going to be old soon, and they're going to be singing rock songs to their kids. Row, row, row your boat, Metallica style, right?
I sent you a thing like that.
You know, so it's been going around the internet forever, right? So he put out a brand new bit, and he started off by going, so I grew up in the 80s with the rock and roll. And you're like, oh, he's done this bit. Where's he going with this? So he starts talking about the fact that all the music that he listens to is now probably, right now, a lot of the metal and rock and roll from the 80s is getting played on classic rock stations. He goes, but in 20 years from now, it's going to be an oldies station. And I'm going to be there with my adult diapers, and my, Christian grandson is going to be driving me in the car, and I'll be like, put on the oldies! So then he starts talking about the fact that his whole life, there was like a specific metal song, You Got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest. Okay. It was a song that just changed his life when he was younger, and it was that song he would put on whenever he was like, okay, I gotta grit, I gotta work hard, I gotta focus, I gotta do it. That was the song that he put on while he was writing his material and everything that he was doing. Mm-hmm. And then he starts talking about Rob Halford, the lead singer of Judas Priest, who is amazing because he's got the crazy octaves and whatnot. And then he goes, and so this song, I'm going to get to perform this song for you tonight. And everyone's like, yeah, Jim Brewer's going to sing rock and roll. Now, he has a dad band, like your dad, but with more money. So they do harder rock, and it's called Jim Brewer and the Loud and Rowdy, right? Oh, yeah. And he's like a parody style thing where he talks about what it's like being a dad. Like his songs are like, I'm a dad, and he has a funny song called Sugar Rush, where he's like, I made the mistake of giving my kids sugar, and it's never ending, and stuff like that. So then he goes, this is so amazing, but the best part about what I'm about to do right now is, and he calls out Rob Halford from Judas Priest, and the two of them take the stage together, and you can see in Jim Brewer's eyes how blown away he is by the fact that he gets to be in this situation, and that's exactly what Jonny is what you're talking about. I'm sitting there going, oh my god, I'm so just you're a stand-up comedian, but now you're singing with the Rob Halford? That's crazy. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm absolutely a little bit jealous, but I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for him. Right. I'm excited because he's emotional and excited, and I know that he appreciates it. And the fact that he appreciates it makes me love him even more. Right. Because he's a famous guy. Like when you see a celebrity, and a celebrity meets another celebrity that they love, and you see them freaking out a little bit. Like, Jonny, you've been talking all week about Nardwuar.
Yeah.
Right, Johnny's been talking about Nardwuar.
Oh, you know about Nardwuar, the human serviette?
Showed it to me.
Oh, good.
So, it's the same idea. When you see somebody famous being all fanboy about... Not fanboy. Fanboy has a negative connotation.
No.
Fangirl.
Not even that. It's gotten to the point, I've watched so many of his interviews where if an artist doesn't treat him well, I'm like, hey, you be nice to our Nardwuar. And people keep writing in the comments of his videos, like, you know if a person is a good guy by the way they treat Nardwuar.
Yeah, because he's kind of like
so I loved how
Pharrell.
How Pharrell loved Nardwuar so much the first time around. And
did you see the other video?
That when he saw him again,
he brought him all these gifts.
He prepped with cheese, with all this other stuff. Yeah. You're like, dude, that is a man who appreciated somebody who put in the effort. And when he heard that he was coming back, he said, I am going to do the same for you. You are a good person. Here, let me make you feel good.
For everyone listening in who has no idea what we're talking about, really quickly as a recap, Nardwuar is a Canadian interviewer who interviews a lot of celebrities, mostly mostly rappers. But what he does, what makes him special, is that he surprises a lot of his celebrity guests by finding all of these really unique presents and gifts and and
tidbits about their past and stuff
He
like
does
that.
but also gifts, and the gifts that he brings them are stuff like, hey, here's your own mixtape on a cassette that you only made 12 of and you don't even own them anymore, and I got one for you. And these people's minds are exploding, not just because they're seeing these retro
because
antiques.
he finds pieces of their life that they thought
He
that
brings
they
their
lost.
history alive for them, and it brings it back to them,
And-
and lets them keep it, and he gives it to them
and
as
you
presents,
know-
and says, I know that your history is important to you here.
And not only, so there's the people who are mean to him, who don't get it. Then there's the people who are nice to him and they're cool. But then there's the people who bring him gifts who are the best of all. Like
Snoop and Pharrell.
Machine Gun Kelly brought him a T-shirt of his band that Machine Gun Kelly had custom made for him. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis brought him a jean jacket with his face on it, just like the one that they gave to Ellen DeGeneres when they went on her show. Okay, so here's the other side of Jim Brewer. There's a person I know who was at the F1 Monaco Grand Prix, and he may have even been watching it from a yacht in the bay. And he's posted all kinds of pictures, and he's doing it up and all that stuff like that. And I'm thinking, like, I'm glad he had a good time, because I'm sure, how could it be bad to watch a bunch of $1 million race cars go zip around Monaco? Even my mom would have a good time doing that, right?
As long as there's, like, the beach chair and...
Yeah, you're sitting on a yacht, you're sipping your things,
Sipping
when
my
it goes by.
juice.
But I was thinking, there's no way he appreciated it on the level that I would have appreciated it, and it made me mad. Like, why do you...
I thought you were going to bring a much worse example.
Like what? He was slamming heroin, and I was like, there's no way!
No, but like when someone gets a gift from someone, they're just like, oh, thank you. I have 12 of these.
No, he was there, and he got to experience it, and I was jealous, and I thought,
No, because it's the experiential aspect of it. It's the fact that when you saw this guy up on stage, you were a little bit jealous, but that jealousy was completely overwhelmed by the other emotion.
But he was also sharing it with you.
Of saying, wow, he must be so, like, totally cool for him. Way awesome. And you were able to empathize and sympathize and put yourself in his shoes without feeling like you were jealous of being in his shoes.
Let me put it to you
And
this way.
he's now saying the difference is that sometimes you see someone and you go, you're just an asshole. Why
No,
the
this
hell are
guy's
you
not
like
an
that?
asshole.
Or I'm just
It would
jealous
be like
of the
somebody
situation.
winning tickets to a Star Wars premiere and him going, well, I like Star Trek more, but...
Right. Okay. I'll tell you a story about that in a second. But here's the thing. Like, if I thought, okay, there's no way he could name me more than 3 guys that were in those cars. And if he could, what the fuck? We should have been talking about this shit years ago. Like, I love talking. Like, I have a guy I'm friends with. I don't know him really, but we both love motorsports, and that's the basis of our relationship.
Of course.
So this guy is the same thing. Like, if he knew when we were together more often, we should have been talking about motorsports.
Who's one of your favorite celebrities who is an actor or a singer who constantly ends up in a different entertainment area because he also likes that and it's fun to see?
Well, Lewis Hamilton, the F1 driver's like that. Like,
where does he end up?
He hangs out with what's his name? What's the black comedian's name? Kevin Hart. He hangs out with Kevin Hart and all those guys all the time, and he makes music even though he won't let anybody listen to it.
Because I'll give you an example. I love Dennis Leary, and one of the nowadays the only place that you can see Dennis Leary is him announcing they bring him into baseball games all the time.
Yeah.
He's like an announcer. He does his own. Oh yeah, Stevenson is on the third base. Oh fucking Stevenson. Let me smoke a cigarette. Like he does the Dennis Leary thing, but he knows baseball. But he knows baseball so well.
Also, it's because of the Kevin Youkilis thing. Do you know the story? He was doing. I guess he's a Red Sox fan, right? There's a player on the Red Sox named at the time at least, his name is Kevin Youkilis.
Okay.
And they're talking whatever, and he's like talking about this guy Youkilis, and then he's like, yeah, what is he? Like, is he Greek? What's up with that kid? Where's Youkilis come from? They're like, oh, I think he's Jewish. He's like, he's a Jew, and then he goes on this hilarious, crazy thing about how much he loves like the Jewish ball player and stuff like that. It's an amazing rant. We'll have to look it up after the show, but I think that also when you hear celebrities come on, I think it's not so much that they're there to call the game also, it's a promotional thing. Like it's part of it's especially with baseball.
But Dennis Leary isn't really doing anything.
He's got something to promote for sure, and it's
this camera, that camera. Tell the people what you got going on.
Yeah, and he's like, and especially a sport like baseball, where it's a little bit of a slower paced game, a lot of a slower paced game. There's a lot of time. That's what's so interesting about listening to baseball on the radio, because the announcers can talk about and now a beach ball is being popped up into the air.
Hey, you remember when we saw that beach ball down by the beach this morning as we were sipping our daiquiris?
Exactly.
And that kid, we should shout out to that kid who was playing on that beach.
You sound so Southern right now. Is that on purpose?
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever heard a Southern baseball announcer.
You should hear the conversations that the racing announcers have when they're doing a 24-hour race, and it's like the middle of the night, and there's not much going on except the cars going on with like the normal stuff. It's hilarious. They get so overtired, they get so cracked out, they have the weirdest conversations, and then they basically like lose their mind up until like the last 4 hours of the race,
and then it becomes important.
Then they get like a B2, a B12 shot or something like that, and then they're all hyped up and ready to go. It's really funny.
So speaking of Kevin Hart, here's something that I'm wondering if either of you have seen. This morning, or this afternoon, they released the trailer for the reboot of Jumanji.
I heard there's no game involved.
I saw that it came out. I did not see it. What
are we doing here?
Okay, so none of you have seen it?
No.
So I want to tell you guys about this, because I was really surprised, okay? So what do you think the Jumanji reboot would be?
Here's my problem.
Alright, Dave, hold on, no. So you know a little bit more than he does.
I'll tell
David?
you now, I've got a big problem. I've never seen Jumanji.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
really?
Really.
That's a really cool movie.
Never
it's
seen
a good
it.
movie. You should see it.
Never seen it.
Okay, David. Pitch Kings. Okay, do you know how Pitch Kings works? Pitch Kings is something that we do here on Tangent that we haven't done in a while.
Oh, it's
basically, you have 10 seconds to think about it, and I want you to pitch me a Jumanji reboot. Okay? Now, obviously, you don't go, well, we're just going to do the same thing, but with different act. No, it needs to be like, this is Jumanji. Reboot it. Reboot it for 2017. I'll give you 2018.
I want Jim Carrey in it.
Doing what?
I don't know what the movie's about!
So pitch me
I'm
a
going
movie.
with a video game. I'm going with it being a video game instead of a board game. First of all, video game instead of board game.
Wait, do you know what Jumanji's about?
There's a board game, they find it in an attic, and it comes to life, and animals are running around.
So you're missing one very important aspect, okay? They're little kids. They start playing the board game. They roll one roll, and then this little boy gets sucked into the board game for 26 years. And then some new kids find the board game, they roll, right? And then their roll releases the kid from 26 years ago.
It's Robin Williams.
It's Robin Williams. He comes out and he's an adult. And then we got one of the best memes ever.
Atari.
What year is this? That's where that meme comes from.
Either Atari or...
Atari?
You either do Atari or an NES system.
I think it's like 2017.
They're supposed to find something old.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm going either Atari or an NES, but proper NES system, not any of this new stuff.
They gotta blow into the cartridge.
They're like, what do you do with this, Mom? And Mom's like, blow into it.
Okay.
And you see them trying to figure it out, play with it for a little while, get it going, and they hit start, and the moment they hit start, somebody pops out. Who's that person? I have no idea.
It's Jim Carrey, and the way he pops out is he comes through the rhinoceros. It comes through the rhinoceros butt, just like in Ace Ventura when Nature Calls, when he comes out of the back of the rhino he was hiding in. It's that scene through the TV screen.
Oh God.
And it's just like animals again and crazy spiders.
I think that it would be more.
So Jim Carrey's the villain, or he's the good guy?
I don't know what the movie is.
I don't know at this point.
Okay, so let me tell you. Let me tell you. Oh, thank God. Okay. I didn't have my drumstick today.
To fidget with.
Okay, so here's the thing, David. So you were spot on about the cartridge. Okay, now all of you guys can go watch this trailer. I don't know why I'm just making him drawing this out when I have to, but I'm really excited about this because it seems really good. So there's 4 teenagers, right? They all get detention. They do not become Power Rangers at the end of it, but it has your stereotypes. It has your hot blonde snob, your jock, your nerd, and your frumpy girl. Okay, frumpy girl. Okay, so they get detention, and the principal's like, "You got to go clean out the basement." Okay, they go down to the basement and they find a console. It's very
generic, whatever
console, right? At least they
ColecoVision.
I had one of those. No, I had it in television.
Oh boy,
I had it in television. Okay, that's not the point. So they plug it in. And there's like, well, you can have 4 characters. So they choose their characters in the video game. I'll be this person. I'll be that person. Oh, that's it. And they all choose. They hit the button. They all get sucked into the video to the console.
So
Unlike
it's
in Jumanji, which is usually it's like Tron. All of a sudden they're in some jungle island, and there's craziness. So the jock gets turned into this weird explorer character. Kevin Hart, right? So he goes from this tall basketball guy to this tiny Kevin Hart. What's going on, right? The nerd gets turned into The Rock, right? And he's all like, "Oh my god!" Right? The frumpy girl gets turned into this kick-ass warrior woman played by Karen Gillian, who was Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy / Doctor Who, right? And the hot cheerleader snob girl gets turned into Jack Black. So Jack Black, the whole movie is Jack Black as a fat explorer, but channeling this high school girl.
So the characters, so the kids,
and all they have to do is survive. But wait, but because it's a video game, they also have like minor superpowers.
Missions.
Wait a minute. So then the actors, the child actors, are
they're gone
in the movie for 5 minutes at the beginning and 5 minutes at the end.
Correct. That's right. Correct.
That's retarded.
Why?
We need to see this trailer.
Okay, we'll watch it. We could probably, in the future, when we get YouTube working on that thing and we fix all the connections, we'd be able to watch it together with everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Technology. Which
I have no idea what time it is. What time is it?
It's 11.
It's 11. Okay, so maybe it's time to move on to our
Do we have a deep dive?
We have 2.
Right,
what?
So we don't have time to do all of them.
No, we have about 15 minutes to dive.
All right, so then I have a deep dive for you.
Are we doing the music one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now would be a fantastic time to share Tangent Podcast on all of your Shmiacy sites, because we're going to be not talking about anything Shmiacy. Point being, Tangent Podcast, either on mixler.com/maximum-mike or on Facebook. Remember, if you laugh, you owe us a share. That's how you won't get into heaven. Okay, go on. What? It could work. It could possibly be a thing.
I'm going to precursor this deep dive with a question.
Oh, did you do this again, Michael?
I did.
Okay, keep going. Ask your question. He keeps logging me out of Facebook. Ask your question.
Okay, ask your question. I'm going to precursor it with a quick explanation. After the suicide bombing in Manchester at the Ariana Grande
Vente concert.
Vente concert. She hosted a concert,
a tribute concert,
a benefit concert
with that symbol, right? One Love Manchester. One Love Manchester. Okay, I watched that concert
from beginning to end.
From beginning to end.
Wow, you had to listen to fucking Coldplay.
You're
dirty now, David.
Everybody. I didn't like most of the music, I'll be honest. I wasn't watching it for the music. I was watching it for analytic purposes. I realized that sounds
whatever helps you sleep. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
No, I actually don't like most of the music. But
I was watching
the reason I was watching it was as follows. This was a gut reaction response to the bombing and to terrorism.
How come they don't do that in this country?
Because there's too much.
We don't give a shit.
Throw like a shredhead show every time there's a bombing.
We used to.
Really?
Yeah. We used to back in the 1990s.
Every time there was a
bombing, people would get together and they would sing there and they would do stuff there and they would try and bring other people would come there and they put candles out.
They don't do that when there are bombings here anymore?
Not anymore.
It's been a while since bombings.
No, not anymore. It's been a long time since you've seen a whole bunch of people get together and there's been a bombing here, and after the bombing that night or a couple of days later, everyone sort of...
Is it a problem if we open the window? Because it's hot.
Not at all. You are welcome to open the window. Go for it. Go ahead.
All the way?
Yeah, all the way.
All the way.
Always.
What if people start listening to Tangent for free through the window?
They can listen to it for free anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so you're watching this show, you're seeing all these people on stage, everybody's swinging in the
And it hits
crowd.
me that what they are doing is participating in a quasi-religious experience.
Yes.
Okay, they are experiencing the same thing that the jihadist feels in his boom. They are experiencing a quasi-religious experience, and that quasi-religious experience means that there are priests or someone who here is representing a priesthood, and that there's pantheons of gods, and that there's whole areas of different forms or manifestations.
Pause really quickly.
Yes.
To come back to something you said right before that, before we move on. When the children or the teenagers or the people of Israel came together after terrorist attack to light candles and sing, was that also a quasi-religious thing?
Sometimes, yeah. Because they would.
I'm asking.
Yeah, it was. If I can put Zionism into a religious framework, which it is possible to do, then yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
You know what's interesting?
Did it make sense to you?
You know what's interesting
That
about
makes
what you're
sense.
saying? What's really interesting about what you're saying is that the youth of the world are so secular these days,
That this is their religion.
But not even that. But so many of them are like
I hate religion.
"Ugh, God, stupid." But like everybody who came out on stage was like, "And God, please," and they're like, "Yeah, God." Well,
Right.
what?
No, not even that. If you watch the which band is it?
It was the Black
Black
Eyed
Eyed Peas.
Justin Bieber also had a
Justin
big
Bieber had
God
a huge
invocation.
God invocation there, which I'm not going to get into because he was more of an invocation.
Right,
Like,
but he talks about God all the time. He's got that giant cross tattoo on his arm.
But my point is that they represent Western civilization's newest manifestation of a belief system, and that the people who are representative of them, or the people that connect with between the music, which is the thing that they worship, because they're not worshiping the people per se, though the people do get worshipped. They're worshiping the actual music. What's your favorite kind of music?
What's my favorite kind of music?
Yeah.
Well, right now it's a synthwave jazz genre. No,
Yeah,
it's.
I thought you were gonna say like Gregorian chant.
You know what? You know what? I was also caught up in that early 2000s Gregorian chant business that was going around. Do you remember that early 2000s? It was like, that's right now, but it was like Gregorian. Nothing else matters. Like, yeah, I fucking like Metallica. I'm gonna get into a bunch of old guys humming. It didn't last very long,
No.
but I got into it like everybody else did.
Okay. My point is as follows.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Electronic music.
Okay. So within those realms, though, you guys could easily tell me who are the people who have brought down, as in played prophet, for new ideas or new forms of that music.
Sure.
And you can probably do it for many different forms, but those are your...
I could do it for years.
Exactly. My point beyond that is that you can also tell me who are the people who may not have brought down something new, but kept that thing going for a while and made it, solidified it in the world.
Sure.
You can also tell me who are the people who were not just the prophets, but the ones who were so dramatic in their presentation or whatever that you would put them into a deity format.
Name one right now, Electronic Johnny.
Gary Newman.
Name a god.
Angus Young.
There you go. Okay, so those are gods. So we have to understand something. There's a pantheon of gods out there. There's a pantheon of priests. There's a pantheon of prophets. Sounds like a religion.
Yes.
Now my question is...
Well, it's because you keep calling them pantheon of, and then you're naming religious figures.
We call them icons.
Right.
They're iconic
That's
figures.
interesting.
I know. By the way, the show was called American Idol.
Idol.
Yeah.
We idolize them. That is part of what we do.
Yeah. Teen idols.
It's part of the nature of... So I'm saying here... So my question is, the deep dive that I'd like you guys to help me with, I would like you to create or explain to me what is the present, most modern pantheon of gods. That is to say, tell me who are the primary gods, who are the primary prophets
In
of the
music?
in music.
Okay.
Over the last few years.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put Coldplay up there.
Yeah, but they represent
my
Satanism.
argument is as follows. My argument goes as follows.
It's religious.
In this generation, in this iteration, Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande, in this act at Manchester, move themselves from potential priests
to the high
into
court.
the priesthood, if not into the high court of their generation as priests. They're not prophets. They're not bringing down something new. They're not gods. They have not changed the nature of music.
So they both.
But they are definitely playing a role in maintaining this pop music, whatever genre, and they have definitely put themselves in a position where the message they are bringing down.
You make it sound like Ariana Grande was lucky.
Yes, she was. And I'll tell you how.
I don't know if she was lucky. I
was stoned at the right time and the right. I'm talking about like by giant fucking rocks, not.
I would argue though. What I would argue is not necessarily if they were lucky or not, but I would argue that because of circumstances, she may have been moved up into the priesthood before she would have otherwise, simply because hers was the one that was targeted. Now, I'm not saying that's not the case, but nonetheless, she was able to pull in Coldplay, Black Eyed Peas, Justin Bieber, anybody. No. Think about
Johnny. The Eagles of death metal couldn't.
Anybody in pop music would have.
But think about the people who didn't.
Like if it was Snoop Dogg concert, that would have been a huge benefit show also. With tons
I'm not arguing that point, but she was able to do this despite the fact that she's not a priest. Snoop Dogg is he's a priest, if not.
Do you want to know why it's
within the realm of rap?
But I'll tell you something that's very interesting right now. Do you know why it would have been easier? Why it was easier with your pop artists or with Snoop Dogg, as you mentioned?
Yeah.
Because to have all those people on stage, all you fucking need is a microphone.
Right. You don't need the guitars and the bands and the everything
drums.
The moment you need shut up. The moment you need that sort of stuff, rock becomes. But there have been rock benefit concerts.
Live Aid.
Time and time again. It's not like it's not possible. My point is there's all different kinds of times it's happened.
How many bands were at Live Aid?
Many. All of them.
No, but it also lasted a bajillion hours.
It was like a few days.
How long was
3.5 hours.
It was only 3. The whole Live Aid was 3.5
hours.
No. Okay.
3.5 hours.
Okay, so
because they had all these bands up for like one.
Back on topic.
No, this is a part of the topic because the question that we need to then ask ourselves is, what did they really accomplish, or is everyone who watched this concert just going, oh, it's just like watching a YouTube playlist. It's a guy, and then another guy, and then another guy.
That's not my question. My question is, when you get a whole bunch of people, or the point that I'm trying to make is that when you get a whole bunch of people sitting together, or standing together, and if you watch the Black Eyed Peas, you saw it with me, when you watch the Black Eyed Peas on stage with Ariana Grande, and you see the people literally picking up their phones, it looked like this. I want to show you the new form of worship.
That's what all concerts look like.
This is the new form of worship.
Yeah,
it looks like this.
That. You see a lit up screen.
This is the form of worship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at a video of like the Ultra Music Festival.
And then if you watch what they're doing, and you see the Black Eyed Peas, and they go, one love, everybody's doing it. And you hear the words, like...
The words of that song are very religious. I never noticed until you pointed out.
Lyrics... #lyrics matter. Lyrics freaking matter.
Okay, so David pointed out something amazing at his thing when he pointed at the audience. Right, he points at the audience and at the giant screens, and he goes, "Look, it's a mega church." I was like, "Oh shit! It looked like a mega church, like exactly the way that the screens were enormous and everyone's faces."
But every concert looks like that now. Every big concert is a mega church.
That's what I want to say.
But the message that's being broadcast here wasn't a message of, oh, we love the music. This was not about the music.
No, it was about
the Western society. We love each other. Which is a...
Well, then it's not a pantheon of music. It's not music as a religion. It was peace as a religion. No. It was unity as a religion.
It is a reiteration of the Christian belief of love.
Right, but that's not music. That has nothing to do with music.
But they've taken music, and what I'm arguing is that music is today...
is the vessel for it.
What the church was 70, 80 years ago.
Except you'd be wrong because of what Johnny keeps telling you, how every single concert resembles that. First of all, there were a lot of people at that One Love Manchester.
Why does that not do it? Because it actually reinforces what I just said. When you go to a concert and you lose yourself in the experience, you're having a quasi-religious experience.
I've seen that same experience that you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. But there are zero references to God, zero whatsoever, with 6 times the amount of people at it, When Angus Young rips up his guitar now in 2016, because ACDC's gone now, and I'm really sad all of a sudden. But in 2016, when he rips up and he picks up his guitar and he does one of those short little, just a single one, and everyone, 90,000 people lose their minds.
That's the ecstasy. That's the ecstatic moment.
Listen,
He's got them so whipped up.
He is bringing down to them the music in a way that speaks to them without him having to say a word. And there's a reason. There is a reason why.
And that's why he's so much more powerful.
There are Jews who don't listen to music because they recognize and believe. They recognize, believe, and understand that music. Which is why you're not supposed to listen to music. Sorry to tell you.
I know.
We're not supposed to listen to music because we don't have a Beit HaMikdash. Why are we not supposed to do it? Because
don't hate the sinner. Hate the sin.
Hate the sin. But the music itself is capable of bringing us as humans to a different plane of existence in our mental state.
I agree with you.
That being the case,
and emotional state.
And emotional state. That being the case, I can argue that any music event that you're going to, whether it's in a small lounge where it's just you and your buds, or sitting in home listening to music, you are having, in some way, shape, or form, some kind of experience which is bringing something down to you that it's not otherwise. So far, so good?
I agree with you, but I'm coming back. I'm disagreeing with your prophets.
Okay.
I feel, and
maybe they're all priests.
Only time will tell.
Only
time will tell. Okay. First of all, I don't think you can stick Ariana Grande in the same stratosphere as Justin Bieber.
For sure, you can.
Not yet.
In fact, okay. First of all, you can't compare them at all because they come
numbers, money, songs.
They are both once-in-a-generation talents, but they occupy different spaces. Okay, he is actually, and most people don't know this, he's a child prodigy.
Yeah.
Okay, he plays 4 instruments, more than 4 instruments. I know
12,
for sure 15,
he plays.
The point is, that's him. She is a once-in-a-generation talent vocally. She might not play an instrument, but she has one of those Whitney Houston voices that. She can do anything. She can take on any character. She can imitate anything.
Yes, but she's too young to only fucking time will tell. She could have a scandal tomorrow. She could. But here's the thing: when you talk about this one concert, okay, when you compare the One Love Ariana Grande concert that got all those people together, and yes, those people, that was fine, okay, but there'll be another one in a week from now, and it'll be somebody else doing it, and maybe Ariana Grande will show up as one of the side singers. I'm saying is that these, specifically her, because I want to focus on her, and I agree.
She might not be a priest. I'm priestess.
No,
I'm willing to accept that.
What I do is
I'm questioning. I want you guys to tell me.
I
don't know
the premise.
I would like you to tell me. First of all, do you accept the premise? And B, if the premise is somewhat accurate, are you willing? Can you suggest what the priesthood is and what the prophets were?
I think the concert was Simchas Torah. The One Love concert was Simchas Torah. Okay?
No idea what that means.
What does that mean? That means everybody went and they had a good time and a couple of Torah scrolls were picked up and everyone was like, yeah, Judaism. Translation, yeah, love. I'm so happy that I'm here right now at this One Love concert. Look at all these famous people. I'm so awesome and I'm a part of it and it's amazing. Cool. Okay? But it's not a once in a life. There are going to be so many of these others. There are going to be so many other concerts and it's going to be somebody else. But, okay, and here's where I'm going back. When AC/DC take the stage, after 40 years of them doing it, concert after concert after concert, okay? When they take the stage, when Angus Young comes out of the floor like a god, like an idol coming out of the floor. Out of the floor,
he's not a god?
That's fucking Ne'ilah. No, the first one.
Kol Nidre.
That's Kol Nidre.
Okay.
So you made him
God.
It's
a completely...
Yeah. You made him God. You just made him a God.
Okay. I don't agree with the God thing at all.
Okay.
Just making them gods and this and that or whatever. I agree with the religious aspect of it. Especially because I've been at concerts where I've had experience that were spiritual.
You don't think people worship
Angus Young? So what I'm saying is, but I don't think he's a god either. I think that these are priests. I think that these stadiums and these what's it called? These stadiums and these concert halls and these venues are the mega churches, just like will.i.am was saying, but they're not gods.
David said that.
No.
David said it's a mega church.
Oh, I thought...
No,
okay.
David said
I got it.
David's the smart one. will.i.am's just talented.
Fine.
David's smart, though.
I got it. David said, I don't see anybody, I don't see a pantheon, I see people being able to be up on stage, as a preacher does, as a priest does, as a rabbi does. They have a pulpit. The pulpit is their stand with their microphone on it. If you're Korn, your microphone stand is designed by H.R. freaking Geiger, and they are able to preach to the crowd. What are they preaching to the crowd? No, they're not saying the Word of God says. No, they're preaching to the crowd the message that is in their music. Now that message changes from band to band.
Exactly.
That message resonates with different people for different people.
Exactly.
The same way that a rabbi that appeals to you doesn't necessarily appeal to me, doesn't necessarily appeal to David. The same way that a priest only appeals to his organization and not their other organizations. People, the prophets, I won't go into God, I will go to prophet, but the prophets, there's maybe 50 of them.
Yeah.
Okay? Kurt Cobain is a prophet. Jimi Hendrix is a
He's
prophet. The Beatles are prophets.
Stop naming dead people. Name someone
just
who's
naming
alive
people.
today.
Robert Plant is a prophet. Robert Plant, the lead singer of
I
Led
know.
Zeppelin.
Fuck you.
Okay. I don't know. You gave me a weird look. Robert Plant is a
He
prophet.
hasn't done anything.
What are you talking about? You know how successful he still is?
Yes, but he's
Success is not the criteria for prophecy. Maybe for
prophecy comes.
But for high prophecy is when you change music.
The prophecy comes in your youth.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, I want you to finish because I don't want you to.
I don't think Justin Bieber. I don't think Justin Bieber is a prophet. I don't think Ariana Grande is a prophet. I don't think that they're changing any. But Britney Spears is a prophet. As weird as it is for me to say that, she's a prophet. She changed popular music at the time and made it. And by the way, the path that we're on right now is still coming from Baby One More Time.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to disagree with you. When you compare all the people that you've compared to rabbis and priests, what a rabbi says, when a rabbi comes out, we all like rabbis. That's cool. I like my rabbi. You like your rabbi. Fine. I like my band. You like your band. Right? And you can like a band, and that's cool. Okay. But when a rabbi comes on, you listen to the rabbi and say, this guy speaks to me, right? We talk about music a lot and how different music affects our different brainwaves, right?
Sure.
When the rabbi comes on, you don't go, oh my God, I love this rabbi. No, I like the way this rabbi makes me feel, and he's leading me in a specific, I'm not talking about Haredim or cults, okay?
No,
I'm talking about regular rabbis.
Okay, here's the thing. That's because we're burnouts. The reason why we don't feel that is because we're all burned out. Okay? And the people who do feel that, you go to a Chabad, you go to an NCSY convention. Okay? And you tell me that when that rabbi gets up and he starts giving whatever they're all
amazing.
Swaying and their heads are exploding and they're having a religious experience.
Yes. Okay, but right now what I'm saying to you from this perspective as Maximum Mike, okay? There's a huge difference between Robert Plant now, okay, Ariana Grande, even Mick Jagger, and the way that people would give their left nut to touch Angus Young.
Same thing. If you can make somebody feel something inside of them, we can't feel things inside us because of rabbis because we're dead inside. Okay. Okay, fine. I'm speaking too big. I like to.
No, because what again, I'm using AC/DC as an example because Angus Young has transcended his own music. It used to be he made me love the music, okay, and now his music makes me love him.
Right.
He's the
That's a god.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I disagree with Johnny here.
It's a god.
Angus Young is a god. He's a rock
So then
god.
the fact that I feel that way about George Michael makes him a god to me.
Well, again, he's dead.
Katie Lang.
Okay.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That's absolutely.
Her music makes me feel things inside of me.
For her.
And then because she made me feel things inside of me, I feel things for her.
That's right.
For
exactly.
her.
For her as a person.
At some point.
If you were to hear that she was going through something, you'd be like, oh,
that sucks.
I'm saw her, I'm with you, and thank you, and I love you, and you're awesome.
If I saw her, I would say, can I please just give you a hug? Thank you for letting me feel things.
That's
thank
right.
You for expressing thank you for helping me feel my.
That's where David has taken us. It's to the point where the musicians themselves are the people that were focused on much more than even their music is doing anymore. They've transcended their own music. Ariana Grande's a great singer.
Yes.
And we love
She
her.
hasn't
She's a
managed to
great
chant
singer,
anything.
but she's not.
She's a priestess.
These are.
If that.
You know what?
At this point, I'm saying
For religious reasons, I would like to change the word
you may use
God
any terms you'd like
to the term legends.
Sure, but
Legends.
I would like to make it clear that we're still talking about, in a lot of ways, a form of worship.
Absolutely. I can't. How many hours of my life? How many hours of our lives are given to music?
I listen to 7 hours of music every day at work.
Exactly. And that being the case, we have to recognize that, and there are idols and icons and all these other things, and it's not a bad thing or a good thing, it's just the way things are.
It's just a thing.
It's just a thing. We need to accept it as a thing, but in knowing that it's a thing, we can also examine it and say, hey, this thing is very, very interesting. Because there are lyrics, which when you look at them, you go, you know what, I love the artist, but those lyrics, when I think about it, like, I like the Black Eyed Peas. I love some of their music.
Boy, I sure don't.
No, that's fine, but there's...
It's fun music.
I know. He doesn't like fun music.
Okay, I'm calling it.
Okay.
Calling it. That's going to do it for us here on episode 27 of Tangent Podcast with Mike and Johnny and David.
Hey, David, thank you very much, David, for joining
That's
us.
also the end of season 3 of Tangent Podcast with Mike and Johnny. We'll be back in a few weeks, better than as good as usual.
As usual, guys, thank you very much for listening. And for those of you listening on Facebook.com, just remember, if you go to our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Tangent Podcast, in a few hours from now, we're going to be reposting. We're going to be posting the rebroadcast. We're going to be posting it on Facebook. We're going to be posting it on Mixlr, on RockForRookies.com. It's also on YouTube. Now, if you listened in through this entire show, if you clicked in, if you laughed and you enjoyed it, once the show's been rebroadcast, a lot of people weren't as lucky as you were. So you need to help share it. I know this is the end of the season, but the best part for me, the best part of what we do every single week, the best thing about what we did right now was we continued the conversation. Okay? Tangent Podcast is about a conversation. It's every conversation you've ever had with your friends where you're talking about one thing.
At the same time.
And then you talk about you're talking about something, you go, oh. You have to hear this. That's what this is, and you have the possibility of joining this conversation. So whether you're on Facebook.com/Tangent Podcast, whether or not you're on Mixlr.com/Maxim-Mike, whether or not you're on RockForRookies.com where all the audio streaming can be downloaded, or if you're on fucking iTunes because Tangent Podcast is iTunes.com/Tangent Podcast.
Shout out to Elon. You are one of our heroes.
Guys, this is the time to share, like, and love. We come here every week, and Johnny prepares the shit out of it.
And before we go, I'd like to say a couple of things real quick. Michael, don't go, please. Okay, Michael's going to America for a few weeks, so I'm going to miss the shit out of him. David, I love you, man. Thank you so much for being with us on this, your guidance and your guidance. Your guidance has been invaluable in helping us. And support has been invaluable in helping us make this show even better. And it's so fun, and we're glad you're here. And that's all. Peace
Have
out.
a great week, everybody. Peace.